LegacyMaker, the All Sports Network.
Hello, everybody. Darrell, Owens, LegacyMaker Sports Network, and we're here to give you our Redskins 7-round mock draft for the 2019 NFL Draft. And with me, my partner in crime on the LegacyMaker Sports podcast, Mr. Jeremiah Quimby, and our NCAA expert himself, Mr. Jeremiah Quimby. Jay, how you doing today, brother?
I'm doing well, brother. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. We got to get into this Redskin mock. You know, the draft is just a few weeks away. We're here getting ready for the draft, getting prep. Our draft show will be coming here soon. The day before the draft is when our overall first-round draft will drop. But now we wanted to go ahead and give you our Washington Redskins 2019 draft picks all the way through 7 rounds. And the Redskins do start off at number 15. They have the 15th pick in the first round. Jay, where do you see the Washington Redskins going with that first pick of their draft?
Well, everything I'm hearing, they're going, kind of need-wise, quarterback. And with Drew Lock sitting there, I believe he is their guy. A lot of people have been impressed with his overall arm talent along with strength. Coming out of Missouri, it's not really a pro-ready scheme, but, by bringing in, they got Alex Smith still on the mend, Case Keenum coming in. I think this is an ideal landing spot for him.
Well, I know the Redskins did bring in Drew Lock for a visit here within the week, so it's going to be interesting to see where they go with number 15. Now, second round, they got the 46th pick of the draft. What are the Redskins thinking in the second round, Jay?
Well, their number one need, and if there's a beautiful wide receiver set at 15, they could absolutely go this way. But at 46, I got them taking Hollywood Brown, the cousin of Antonio Brown from Oklahoma, who was a key piece of that explosive Oklahoma offense last year that helped win Mr. Kyler Murray that Heisman Trophy.
Now, with the Redskins, we know that the Redskins have struggled at the receiver position, and we checked yesterday. They only currently have 3 receivers on the roster and trying to continue to build that up. So receiver is going to be a huge part of this draft. Let's slide to the third round. Pick number 76. Where do the Redskins go with their first pick of the third round?
Well, this is where you start looking at, certain needs. And, they traded for HaHa last year, and, he walks in free agency. They bring in Landon Collins and pay him buku bucks. They've got a stud safety that is a thumper. Yes, he has the ability to, he can catch the ball. I think he had 8 interceptions his rookie year. But in this 3-4, I think you'll see him dropping down in the box a lot. And that's where I see Juan Thornhill, safety out of Virginia, come into play. Just because 12 interceptions in his career at Virginia, love his rangy ability. You can drop him in deep zone, and he can cover sideline to sideline like there's no tomorrow. I wouldn't say he's has fluid as a Malik Hooker type, but you can't be angry with his coverage skills by any means.
Yeah, I love what you see from Juan Thornhill. We covered the Cavaliers this year in football, and Thornhill showed off at times, and you can tell that Virginia defense really came along. He could be a nice piece for the Washington Redskins. Now, the Redskins do have the number 96 pick in the third round, their second pick in the third round, a compensatory pick. Me and Jay was working on that before the show. 96, what do the Redskins go with that 4th pick of the draft?
Well, I got them taking, offensive line is a huge need for them. They seem to be, the last 2 years we've been blessed with covering them, but they've been, leading the league on people on IR. And a lot of them are offensive linemen. And, they got their mainstay tackles. But still, I really like Titus Howard out of Alabama State. 6'5", 320, so, big guy, moves very fluid for his size. You could plug him at a guard position or move him out to a tackle, and I think he could even play left tackle in the NFL with his strength. So I got them going tackle with 96.
Can't go wrong there. They definitely needed some help on that offensive side of the ball. On that offensive line part of the ball, and last year it was just a rotating dream there. They ended up having to sign 3 offensive linemen towards the end of the season, right along the time that they were losing all their quarterbacks. So they still made a way out of nowhere and almost still made the playoffs, but offensive line help is definitely going to be a need. Now, the Redskins do not have a 4th-round pick. That one went to the Green Bay Packers, a part of that Clinton Dix deal. Let's go to round number 5, pick 153. Where do the Redskins look at?
Well, this one's kind of a value pick, and I got them going, cornerback is not a huge need for them, but with some of the packages they like to play, Fabian Monroe has been a kind of a question mark. They took him in the 3rd round 2 years ago, and he really hasn't lived up to that hype. Quentin Dunbar was a surprise last year. You got Josh Norman. Greg Stroman has kind of been a question mark. He's been great in the return game, but he gets hurt a lot too. And, maybe I'm not justifying the picks well by saying hurt because he did get hurt at the bench press, but at 153, I got him taking Kendall Sheffield. The man is lights out fast. He's got the NCAA record for the 60-meter sprint. So he can keep up with anybody. He could help that return game once he learns a little more. He was a great cover corner for Ohio State. So seeing him fall a little bit because of injury, give him time to get back, I think this could be a steal of a pick at 153.
All right, so the Redskins go Sheffield at 153. Now, they also have another 5th-round pick, and that's 173. Where the Redskins go with that second 5th-round pick?
Well, we know their love for defensive linemen out of Alabama. Right now they currently, if I remember correctly, have 4 Alabama alums on their roster that I know of, and they're all on the defensive side. Ryan Anderson, you got Payne, Allen, and then, Collins, the newly acquired safety. But Isaiah Buggs was a 4-star prospect, highly touted recruit. If he can get an NFL coach that will, stay on him, find a way to get him always attached to the game. I mean, I watched the game against Clemson, and you saw him taking some plays off when you never give up on a play because you don't know where it's going to go. You could turn into a blocker downfield if there's a turnover, and you could just see him just stop in the middle of the field and put his hands on his hips. No coach ever wants to see that. If he actually played up to his talent, we could be talking about him getting taken, top 15 picks. 8.5 sacks. He led the team in sacks with Quinn Williams, who's talking about being a top, could possibly be number 1 pick in this year's draft. So I got them going with him. They need, that rotation they got going in on that 3-4 line. I think he would be very versatile. And I mean, heck, I've even seen him play with his hand off the ground and put him on an edge.
So Alabama goes, another Alabama player goes to the Redskins in the 5th round, 173. Now we go to the 6th round. The Redskins, 3 picks left. This one is pick 206. Where do the Redskins go with this pick?
Well, they had a little departure this year. They were able to keep Mason Foster on the inside, and this guy really hasn't had a good draft process so far. And Trey Lamar, I apologize, linebacker from Clemson, led the team in tackles. He is not a pass rusher, but he is a run stuffer. He is the type of guy that 3-4 coaches love to have in the center. He can read defense as well. The last 2 years, look what he's done. He's been the play caller kind of out there directing traffic for that Clemson defense. You can't go wrong with the, pick 206 to get yourself a run stuffer like that.
Maybe kind of remind us of Boulware. You remember they used to have Boulware there in Clemson, who was a part of that first national championship team. Kind of gives you that type of feel?
It does, and the thing that makes Trey very interesting is the fact of his size. He is 6'3". For an inside linebacker, that's gigantic. He can block passing lanes just by being there,
So we'll see there. That's number 6 pick right there. Like the move there by the Redskins going with the Clemson linebacker. Next, now the Redskins have 2 7th-round picks. At first, they got number 222. Where do the Redskins go with that 222?
Well, they got, Ryan Anderson they have right now, even with the lack of having somebody in front of him, on their official depth chart that they have available, he is their, number 2 outside linebacker, which is an edge rusher in the 3-4. And, where they took Anderson and his expectations, he needs to definitely take it up a couple notches this year. So I'm going to chalk him in as a starter, but a guy that's put on some good, really, really impressive workout is Jonathan Ledbetter, edge rusher from Georgia, 6'4", 270 pounds, and ran a 4.7 in the 40-yard dash.
Ooh. Now, that Georgia team, very good last year, very solid defense, and Ledbetter could be somebody special for this Washington Redskins team. Now, we hit to the last pick here for the Washington Redskins, 7th-round pick. Actually, the next to last pick in the draft, number 253. Where do the Redskins go with this last pick?
Now, I went with this pick just because, I ran almost 40 different mocks, going different ways here and there. And this guy always seemed to be available. And if he's there, you got to take him. And I went, and I know they've got a slew of running backs. But like I said, the injury bug has always been impacting them. They brought back AP, which I think is a great decision. But Mike Weber, running back out of Ohio State, and he's got that one cut, and he runs almost exactly the same way AP does. I think you bring him in, you let him learn from the Zen master himself, and you have yourself, I know they took various guys last year, and, guys got hurt. We saw what has happened to a player when they come back from an injury, rest in peace, RG3's career. And you don't know what you're going to get back, what type of running back or what type of contact he'll be able to take or be afraid to take with guys. So I went with running back with their last pick, Mike Weber. Just the way he hits he finds the hole and he goes.
Well, the Redskins, and you brought up a great point. The Redskins struggled at the running back position last year. Thompson was in and out. Of course, the year before then, Thompson had got injured. Then on top of that, Geis got injured in the first preseason game of the year, so he was looking really good up until the injury during that game. And then Kelly had got hurt, and then they rarely used Perrine last year. So looking at all those factors, the Redskins could definitely use another running back, maybe to bring in and see what they can go from there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is our Washington Redskins 7th-round mock draft. Mr. Quimby did all of the main thinking on that one. What do you feel about this draft overall for the Redskins?
Well, I think this, depending if they stick to their guns and they go by need, some places in this draft you can go best player available, but this is the first time in a while where they've had almost all their picks except for that 4th rounder that they got with. They could add pieces that could turn this franchise around and make it a contender in the East, because you look, the Cowboys are kind of in limbo with everything that's going on the defensive side of their ball. You got the Giants with the transition going on with Eli. And, if right now the Eagles own this, division, this could give the Skins the chance. Like you said, they were right on the cusp of making the playoffs this year with this battered team. Add depth, add talent, coach away. That's the best I can, tell them.
All right, everybody. That was Mr. Jeremiah Quimby. I'm Darrell Owens. This has been a Legacy Maker Sports Short. Washington Redskins 7th round mock draft. Once again, remember our full mock will come out the day before the draft. We really appreciate you all tuning in. Until next time, have a good day.